Hi guys, welcome to episode 2. We made it. I defied the odds. I said that very posh, no? Odds. I defied all the odds. I'm here for the second week in a row. I don't think you guys thought I'd be here. I certainly didn't think I'd be here. How's my podcast career going, you ask? Well, I just got off the phone with my mother, who told me to stop putting rude things on the internet. And when I said, stop telling me what to do, she gave me the finger, blew a raspberry, and then called me a cunt. So just in case you were ever wondering what my mom was like, or where I get my attitude from, I've made my set today very cozy. I've lit some candles. Now I'm aware that this is a predominantly audio experience for people, but for anyone watching on YouTube, if you guys could just keep an eye on that and let me know if it goes on fire, not the candle, of course, that's meant to be on fire. I just mean my bed sheets, because it is a fire hazard, but I think it was kind of worth it for the cozy vibes, don't you? I know you guys will be surprised, but I actually do have a theme for this week. So I knew getting into making podcasts that I really wanted to talk about women, just like women I've seen on the street. I just discussed them. No, I meant historical women. So I want to talk about historical women because I love them. I obviously don't know them and I've never met them. But I'm sure some of them were lovely. I'm sure I would have probably got along with some of them. I was thinking last night as I was brushing my teeth where I have all of my greatest thoughts. I was thinking about the things that we know, women in history were and still are treated so badly, much like contemporary women, but worse. And I wanted to talk about some of the things that we think that we know about historical women, but that history kind of has not been able to prove or has gone as far as disproving. This sounds like I was having a very, very intellectual thought while I was brushing my teeth. No, I was thinking about the fact that there's this historical rumor that Cleopatra used to wank with a bowl full of bees, and that's not true. First of all, why? But it's also the things that people make up is really what's so baffling to me. Listen, maybe she did, right? We don't know what she did with all of her time on Earth. How could we? But people are pretty sure she didn't do that. And I think if you spoke to a human being who has a vagina, they wouldn't. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And yeah, I'll be the first to say it. A little bit of vibration down south is stunning. I'd say 10 out of 10. But I don't know if you'd risk getting stung by a cohort of bees in your most precious area for a little bit of a good feeling. But hey, I also don't know. It was Egyptian times, and they didn't have the rabbit. Did I say it was Egyptian times? That's not what the historical period was called. It wasn't called the Egyptian times. Egypt is still very much with us. They're still very much having times. But yeah, I was looking into the history of the modern day vibrator, and there's this ongoing historical rumor that the first iteration of the modern vibrator was Cleopatra sitting on a bowl of bees, but we don't know. And actually a stunning rumor to have imagine if they were she was gagging for it so hard, she was clitoris, if she gets stung, more of it to go around because it gets swollen. Maybe not. That's not probably how that works. Before I actually go any further, let's take a health and safety stop. Okay, because don't by any means take what I'm saying as the truth. Okay, and I don't even mean when I'm not talking about historical facts, anything that I say, do not cite me. Obviously, I obviously know you're not going to do that, right? Because you have more than one brain cell. But just don't, or don't go, maybe Google things that I say on this podcast before you go and tell your friends. That might be a good piece of advice, because something that you need to know about me is I talk out my hole. every day. There's also a lot of, I guess, people think that the modern vibrator comes from back to Victorian times, when women would have what now I guess is referred to as like expressing the frustrations of being a woman, but back then was like called hysteria. If a woman acted out, quotation marks, hard for that, acted out at all back then, like if like a woman had like a headache or like an opinion, they get brought into the loony bin, more or less. But there was this doctor that was like, would I not just wank them off? Because like, you know, that helps me when I'm stressed. So I reckon that would help them. And like, he was on the money. But apparently that's not true either. But like, who's to believe? I'm just gonna, I don't know if that's true. But like, just for now, let's just say it is. Because like, what does it matter if it's a lie? Because it's a funny one. Vibrations were very popular in medicine at this time because they didn't know anything, right? Like the Victorians were well stupid, and they just thought like, if I put like a back massage around something, it'll help. And like, of course it will help if the problem is you want a back massage. But then one day this doctor, who honestly like deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, was like, would we ever put it on the fanny? And the ladies loved it. And like, to this day, like a really great way to help you if you're in a bad mood is to have a wank. I had that thought the other day of like all of the women in the world that have existed that have never owned a vibrator, and I shed a tear. Yeah, I just started thinking about all the women in the past that who've only had like an acoustic wank, and like that, they're lovely too, don't get me wrong, but like, it is better. And like, I think, and I'm never going to judge someone if they don't have a vibrator, like obviously, but like in this day and age, if I had like a contemporary, you know, like someone my age or younger, like to a normal extent, and I didn't have a vibrator, I'd be like, what? Why? Like, that's you're being abusive to yourself. Someone else I wanted to talk about was Marie Antoinette. Guys, you know her, you love her. She was a child bride. Same. No, she got married at like 14. I got married at 30. But I just kind of feel like, you know, like if you take into account inflation, like I'm a child bride, basically. She's famous for her hair. She's famous for her dresses. She's famous for like having her foundation probably like a few shades too light. It's okay, she's using her winter foundation all year. Yeah, I mean, we all know this. She didn't actually say, like, you know, her famous line, you know, let them eat cake, because all the peasants, sure, they were very hungry, and someone, you know, came to her and was like, what should we do? And she was like, just like, let them eat cake, you know. And then like that got the peasants fucking, they were mad about that. And like, honestly, like, I would have been too. Like, because I don't have any money at the moment, and if Keir Starmer, sorry, I live in London, that's what's with the English references, was like, oh, just like, oh, they can't eat, well then just like, they can't afford bread, well then just like eat a Waitrose ready meal, I'd be like, who do you think I am? But she didn't say that, guys. She didn't say that. And, you know, for the longest time, I was like, well, if she didn't say that, then what did she say? And I realised that I thought that someone had just misheard her. I thought that she had said something along the lines of let them eat cake, but whoever, like the person that was, you know, because you didn't have audio, you didn't have microphones back then. Someone was just hand transcribing it. And I thought that someone just must have misheard her. Like, she said, well, let them bring a mate, like, to the kitchen, because maybe if you like pooled your money together, you'd be able to afford bread. Well, it's just, anyway, guys, what actually happened was that the whole thing was like someone just made it up, like she wasn't talking to someone, right? And I know what you're thinking, like, oh no, guys, stop, it's not embarrassing, it's okay if someone who's listening didn't know that, okay? Because I also didn't. Right, and now you do. Another one, a famous one. I mean, everyone loves her. Everyone knows her, Miss Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn is famous because Henry VIII was the king. No, guys, let's actually start from the start because it's like the craziest story ever. There was this fella called Arthur, and he was due to become the King of England. And he gets a wife shipped over because, like, for whatever, like a mail order bride is frowned upon unless it's with royalty, apparently. So Catherine marries Arthur, and then Arthur just goes off and dies, as they were prone to do back in the day. Sure, the NHS wasn't there, and the water was probably not very clean. Like, medicine back then was like, we'll rub a leaf on it, hope for the best. They loved to bloodlet for like most of history. Do you ever think about that? It's only very recently doctors have been like, maybe when someone's not feeling great, we should keep the blood in the body. So Arthur dies, and then Catherine's put into prison. Huh? No, and there isn't an explanation that's going to make sense to you, so there's actually no point going into it. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, she went to prison because she did crime. No, she just got imprisoned. Then Arthur's dad for a bit is like, maybe I'll marry her. Huh? But instead, anyway, he decides, actually, no, sure, the younger son, Henry's going to become king now that Arthur's dead, and there's already a wife there, so like, why bother go looking? So they get Ginger Cathy and they take her out of prison, and she's like, TG, I'll be heading back over to Spain there. And they're like, whoa, no babe, you actually have to marry your dead husband's baby brother. But by all accounts, Henry VIII, who he will become, is like a stone cold hottie, which is hard to believe because, like, you've seen paintings of him. And anyway, they get married, and for years they're delighted, they're happy out, so they are. Now Catherine can't have a baby, bless her. Does she have a baby? Hold on there now, actually. She did have a child. What am I talking about? She didn't have a son, which, as far as Henry was concerned, was not having a child at all. Anyway, Anne saunters in. So she does. She comes over. She's like, ooh la la. She was living in France, right? Now, Henry was riding all around him while he was with Catherine, but like that was considered a happy marriage back in the day. Girls, how times have changed. TG. R.I.P. Henry, you would have loved polyamory. But he was riding Anne Boleyn's sister. Guys, that's how messy this gets. The Tudor court is kind of like what my drama society was like in college. Insofar as there was like 50 of us, max, at the very tip top, I'd say, and we just were all riding each other. And we never thought to look outside the pack. So Anne comes in, she's a sexy hot girl. Listen, can we blame her? You know? And like, I know sisterhood and all that crack, but like, Anne was a woman. Like, you know what? An icon living. Well, she's dead. An icon dead. She comes into court anyway. Henry's like, wouldn't mind a bit of that. Wouldn't mind a bit of that. Apparently she's like whip smart. Hilarious. Guys, does she sound like someone you know? Me. And she charms the whole of Henry. And Henry's like, oh, I'd fucking love to ride you, babe. And Anne's like, no. She's like, I'm not riding you if you don't marry me. And he's like, say, do you read a newspaper? Like, I'm already married. And she's like, okay, well, that sounds like a you problem. And like, no one had been a bit cheeky to Henry, so he just got like an instant hard on. And he was like, I have to have sex with her. Like, if I don't, I'll die. Then everyone was like, Henry, babe, don't be dramatic. Like, you've got a gorgeous wife and you've got a lovely marriage, and also you ride everyone else in the bloody court, so could you not just like not ride this one woman? And he was like, no, I think I'm gonna make the entire country change religion. Guys, I've actually made my decision. You can't talk me out of it. And all of his friends were like, babe, let's just go home, like, sleep on it. He's like, no, guys, stop. You're not going to talk me out of it. anyway, he goes to the Pope and he's like, hey, so you know the way my wife Catherine can't have a son? Yeah, she's like she's defective. You know what I mean? And then they probably high five or something because like they love being mean to women, and he's like, yeah, haha, they have a good old laugh, and then the Pope is like, oh yeah, I've actually never had sex, although he probably was, like he probably was, like famously, because I don't know if you know this, but like popes and priests are like, oh, like pinky promise I won't have sex, but then they do, and then they do things worse than that. But let's not get into that today. The Pope's like, no, absolutely high five, like women are the fucking worst, but you actually, like, I can't, like, you can't have a divorce, unfortunately, like that's not going to be the way we roll. I'm so sorry, babe. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then the Pope is like, no, I can completely understand your frustration, and I'm like hearing your problem, but like there's not much I can do, and like my manager clocked off at 5. So then the Pope's like, then Henry's like, well, that's so fine, I was going to change religion anyway. I'm actually going to start a whole new religion, and I'm going to be the head of it. He was sat down and he was like, you know, drawing up the plans for this new religion he was making, and he was like, and who's going to be the head of it? Ooh, me. That would be very me if I decided to start a new religion. Who's going to, okay, this is a great new religion. Really great, really solid. What do we have going for us? Like, we have Jesus still. We have Mary. She's not going to be a saint, though, because I hate women. We still have God. We still have pretty much everything the Catholic have. But we have divorce, and great, who's going to be the head of it? Me. Sure, I know all the rules, so like I may as well just be me. Anyway, he goes back and he's like, guys, you'll never believe it. We have a new religion starting Monday. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know the rules. You don't need to know the rules. Everything's the same except we have divorce now. And I'm also in charge more than I was before because I'm the king now, and also I'm the head of the church. Oh, and also just like an AOB to this meeting, I'm gonna be using the new divorce clause in the religion, like ASAP. Everyone was scribbling down notes. They were like, wait, what? Sorry, did you hear what he said that last bit? Did he say he's going to get a divorce from the Queen? But then by that time, like, Henry got on his lunch. He'd ran off to Pret because, like, the queues get crazy at 1 p.m. Anyway, so Anne hears the news and could you imagine you chanced your arm so hard and you flirted so hard and he came back and he was like, Grandja. Imagine that day. Like, imagine, like, she rings up her girlies. Now, obviously, she couldn't ring them. She probably, like, calls them verbally. Do you know what I mean? Like, sure, they were all in the room anyway because they didn't have a lot of friends back then. She was just like, you know, Marg's with the girls, guys. No. And no, guys, I can't tell you till we sit down. No, because it's actually that good. Like, you know, no, guys, we'll all sit down. We'll all get the drinks. And when we get the drinks, I'm going to start the story. Right, that's probably the vibe. And then they got the margs, right, spicy for Anne because she's a devil, right? And she's like, so guys, remember when Henry was like going after me mad and it was kind of embarrassing, and like my sister was there like, oh, I just wrote him anyway, I didn't even ask for marriage. And I was like, well, that's because you're a dirty slut, Mary. Everyone is called Mary, Catherine or Anne. Just by in the story, everyone is called Catherine, Mary or Anne. She sits down and she says, you know, Henry the king. Oh, and also, guys, I don't know if you got the notice in the door, but also the head of the new church. Yeah, he was flirting hard. And I was like, I'm not going to put out unless you get married, unless you put a ring on this finger. And like, obviously, we all know that she's married to Catherine. Like, but anyway, he's after starting a whole new religion there for me. For me. No, guys, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know the rules. You just know that divorce is legal now and Henry's the head of it. I reckon that was a good day for her, just for her ego. Now I'd love to kind of, I suppose, like zap in to this moment for Anne and be like, hey babe, you know what actually, I'll give you the night. Go have another few margs with your girls, enjoy it, embrace it. Come to me tomorrow though, because I do have some news from the future and it's not great, babe. I think enjoy tonight. But I actually think you probably shouldn't go through for it. Like, just if you fancy keeping your head, you know? And then on the other side of, well, the room really, I was about to say town, but like again, the Tudor court really was quite intimate, right? In terms of numbers, they didn't have a lot, right? And you would think people would show up. There's hardly anything else to be doing, but it was very elite to be in the court. Catherine's there, gets the news that Henry's going to divorce her. Well, first of all, I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, you can't just make up your own religion, you fool. But I suppose you can if you're the king. And I would go there and I just just a handful of Anne's hair, and I'd beat up Henry too, don't get me wrong, but like I would be mad at Anne as well. I'd be like, could you not have just like rode him? He was gagging for it. Just have sex with him. Like, I'll tell you from experience, it's only okay, but like just do that, right? Like, he's already married. Anyway, Catherine has the mayoress of all mayors. She's like, absolutely not. But like, sure, there's not much you can do about it, really. Henry gets the divorce. They're married. Anne and him get married. They're married for like a year, I think. Anne does have a baby, but unfortunately, that baby doesn't have a willy. So like, is not like, Henry doesn't care. And back then, of course, like when a woman couldn't have a baby or could only have women, like other baby girls, that was like, it was like she was choosing to do it. And I don't think any man ever stopped and was like, right, like I get really angry when she only has girls or when she can't have baby. And in fact, in a lot of cases, I kill them if they can't have a boy. They're definitely choosing this. They're definitely making this decision just to piss me off. They're definitely like, do you know, really annoy him now if I have another girl. Do you know, will maybe make him think about actually murdering me, having another girl. So I'll just do that, will I? Anyway, Henry deals with it like really maturely. He brings Anne into his room and he's like, hey babe, I love you so much. I started a whole new religion. I wanted to be with you so badly. Do you remember that, babe? Do you remember that? Anne's like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do actually. And he's like, it's fine. Listen, we've only been married like a little bit. You've had a baby. She's gorgeous. We love her. We'll try again. And listen, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, right? No, he doesn't do that exactly. He's like, no, I'm actually just going to say that my wife fucked her brother and I'm going to chop both of their heads off. Which I think we can all agree was the mature decision and was the right decision. Anyway, like, we're almost positive that Anne didn't have sex with her brother, and it was just needless murder, for sure. I ended up talking about that for a lot longer than I thought I was gonna. The other person I want to touch on, like, very, very briefly. Guys, have you ever heard of Elizabeth Bathory? Right? Elizabeth Bathory. First of all, I feel like you could work with Elizabeth Bathory. And also, like, one of her family members is called Stephen Bathory. Like, that's someone you share a canteen with. She's the lady that, have you ever heard of the story that there was like this old noble woman that used to bathe in virgin's blood, like to look young? Like, R.I.P. Queen, you would have loved retinol. But yeah, the like reports came out that she had like tortured and murdered like over 600 serfs, which was just like poor people back in the day. They were like slaves, right? I was about to say servants. They weren't. It was like slavery. And that she just like killed a load of them. Now, we don't know for sure what happened. But historians are like, it probably wasn't 600. Because first of all, where would you find the time to get 600 people? I mean, you'd have to be banging one out like a couple a day. Because it wasn't over her whole life, it was just over like a number of years. But there is a lot of evidence that like she wasn't a good person. I'm not coming here to defend Elizabeth, right? Lizzie was not a nice lady. Like, she did probably kill some people and she definitely tortured some serfs, like, right? She's getting cancelled, right? But I don't, like, people don't think she killed 600 of them. And she probably didn't bathe in their blood. But like, kind of cunty if she did. No, Alice, no. that it would not be cunty if she murdered a load of people, drained them of their blood, and got into a bath full of it. That wouldn't be cunty. Check yourself, babe. That would be a horror that I don't think anyone could fathom. All in the name of looking young too. Would we ever leave women alone? I mean, well, Lizzie should be leaving the women alone and not murdering them and draining them of their blood. But could we ever leave women alone about the whole aging thing? And I'm not saying that society is the reason or to blame for her murdering loads of people. Sure, people have wouldn't mind getting rid of a few wrinkles and they haven't been driven to murder, right? But just on a separate note, would we ever leave women alone with the whole having to look 20? It's ridiculous, really. Can't we just look our age, right? Because if one more person tells me that I don't look 30, I understand that you're trying to give me a compliment, but I do. And also, 30's young. Shut up. Stop screaming at me. Anyway, Lizzie Bathory is kind of I sound like I'm saying Bathory. I'm trying to say the word battery, but I'm from West Cork. Bathory. Right. Anyway, she's famous for being allegedly one of the most prolific serial murderers of all time. But she probably wasn't. I'm looking at her portrait right now. She's got an unfortunate forehead. I often think, it's not that bad actually. But a fringe would suit her, is all I'm saying. But I suppose after murdering and draining everyone of blood, she probably wanted to show off her forehead and the lack thereof of wrinkles. I often think about old paintings and how expensive they must have been and how long it would have taken to paint them. Imagine sitting there for a day. It's your most prized possession to have this portrait done of you, and then you get it back and you're like, what the fuck is this? Oh, I look really fat. Or oh no, I don't know. Oh, I hate it. Why does my chin look like that? I just feel it must be when you have a photograph taken of you and you don't like it. Because but it's painted and they've after doing the work now, so what are you meant to do? Do you take was there, and I'm actually genuinely asking, if you got your portrait back and you said, hey, love it, thank you so much for your work, but my ears look massive, could you ever make those smaller? Is that a thing that happened, and is that a thing they could do? See, I actually kind of made notes, and by made notes I mean I have 5 bullet points that just have the names of the people that I wanted to talk about, and I realised I never talked about Catherine the Great. What people say about her is lots of things. I mean, she lived a very long life, but she had a husband at the start. Yeah, I was saying she was a child bride, right? And she thought he was a waste of space because he probably was, and she got rid of him. She got rid of him. She cooed the whole. She became the queen, and I think he died. I think he was killed, which is not great. Catherine the Great. I don't know if he was killed. Regardless, would everyone stop fucking murdering their spouses though? I understand that it can be I've been married for 9 months now. It can be a challenge. Well, actually, I have a lovely marriage. I'm sorry, I have a lovely marriage. It's probably a challenge for my husband. I'm quite the handful. But the effort of going off to murder. Change religions, Lord above. Anyway, Catherine the Great, what is true about her is she loved to ride. Do you know what she would have loved? Cleopatra's bee vibrator. She didn't need it though. She was riding around the clock around her. She had when she got older, she had a lot of younger male suitors. Catherine the Great really said, I'm going to defy gender roles. I'm going to murder my husband and I'm going to have really young boyfriends. But people say that she died from fornicating with a horse, which I think it goes without saying that that's not what happened. She just died. She just died normal. But people that didn't like her made up that rumor. And I'm just thinking about like all of the rumors that were made up about people in the past and what one I'd want the most to be about me. It's really a toss up right now between getting fucked to death by a horse or the bee vibrator, and I have to go with the bee vibrator, I'm afraid, because it sounds the most fun, honestly. I also have Pocahontas down here, mainly because just like the Disneyfication of her story is just like false, do you know? And like, again, I know that we know that in mature times, it's just like, maybe like it was my favorite movie by like a long shot when I was a baby. Like my nephew now can't watch anything but The Lion King, and like very much me with Pocahontas. First of all, my nephew, good taste. I like Pocahontas is a crazy rewatch as an adult. It's like, it's just colonialism, like propaganda, and it was made in like the 90s. So what's that about? Oh my god, 1995, the same year as me. We should have known better by 95 not to make that. Like, because watching it, even if I didn't know like more the truth behind it, I think I was watching it and I was like, girl, this didn't happen. At the end of the movie, the English leave. They're like, oh, sorry for the hassle, we'll just leave because like you guys are fine by yourselves. Was it like a wish fulfilling? Was it like oh, this would have been lovely if this is what happened? But it didn't. That's like quite literally the opposite of what happened. Anyway, the movie said that like Pocahontas fell in love with this English man. Like that, guy is, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, but she got kidnapped. The English are good for nothing, and they've done just. I have a running theory that everything bad within this world is the Brits' fault. Think about it. Like, they'll be like, oh well, you know, the Industrial Revolution was awesome, where would the world be? And sure, but then on the other hand, climate change. That I feel like like in the Industrial Revolution, like equaled just the like, yeah, we have cars, isn't that great? You're going to be responsible for the world ending. Like that doesn't feel like equal payoff. Yeah, I can conveniently get to Tesco. Well, I mean, I can't. I don't have a driver's license. But like one can. But what's that going to matter when our great grandchildren are on fire? I think that feels like a good place to end this episode. Thank you so much for joining. Like always, phone, keys, pussy, attitude. Okay, so see you next time.